G'day guys, and welcome back to another live stream. So, do you think I'm getting a bit of echo here? And I've got no idea why. So, welcome back to another Wednesday night live stream. And I don't know if you guys are hearing the echo here. Yeah,
and I have no idea why. Just put me on. Put me both on. Are you playing it? It's not me.
No, not me. And we'll bring Jason in. Yeah. I got nothing out. On my screen.
Well, it's not playing here either, man. So I don't know what's going on. I can't hear an echo at all.
Yeah, I got a major echo here. I'm turning everything off. Okay, how's that, guys?
Just put me off. Put me off, man.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Welcome back. Sorry about that, but hey, it's not a live stream unless something goes wrong. So I hope you guys have had a great week. And it's election time, guys. It's time to vote for whatever cockroach is out there. And it's pretty interesting. I've been studying a bit of the gun policies this week, and we're going to talk about that. So basically, most of their gun policies are we're just going to keep the gun laws as they are. I can't find any party that is going to actually fight for our rights. Just keep it the way it is. It's all good. The NFA is fantastic. So unfortunately, those sort of people don't get my votes. If you're not going to vote for us, you're not going to fight for us. You're not going to get my vote at all. So we got our very first super chat. Thank you to Matt Outdoors. Thank you very much, Matt Outdoor Adventures. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. No question actually attached to it. But for you guys, hope you guys had a great week, and I'll try and bring Jason in here.
Is it echoing now?
It is in my ear, but hopefully no one else can hear that.
I don't know what's going on. There's nothing wrong here. I've got everything plugged in before. Are you guys hearing that? Just let us know if there's an echo. I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can hear Jason clear as day.
Fucking echo. All right, I'm shutting everything down. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I want to thank Lockie for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Lockie. So let's answer a few questions before we get into tonight's topic while Jason sorts his computer out. For once, it's not my computer, it's someone else's. So, we got here Jack Daniels. Yep, it's an echo. So, I don't know what it is. It's definitely, can you guys hear an echo from my end right now? I'm the only person on this live stream. And I have nothing else open, so there should not be an echo right now on my live stream. Well, I've got no idea what's going on here. Yeah, as Peter said, it only echoes when I come on, when Jason comes on. So hopefully, there is no echo right now. So guys, hope you had a great week and you've enjoyed your. Hope you have gone out shooting. Here in Queensland has been nothing but raining. It's been awful. So tonight we're here to talk about the new election coming up in 2022 in a week's time. So it's going to be an absolutely interesting week for the elections. So we're going to talk about who's going to get in. We all know that it is all rigged for Labor and Liberal elections. And so what shooting parties have been good for our shooters who have actually, got a bit of a street cred in the last few years, last 4 years, or just gun flapping. And most of the parties I've seen have been total gun flapping. Here we go. Here's Jason. Yep. How you going, Jason? You're a bit silent.
All right, there we go. Is that better? Is that echoing?
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
All right, let us know if I'm echoing, guys. I don't know what's up with this stuff, man.
No, you're perfect now.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Yeah. Better late than never, I guess, huh? Better late than never.
Exactly.
Aaron, they're saying the echo's back. How on earth?
Well, you stay here, Jason, and I'll restart.
Yeah, just see if he restarts, guys. He says I'm good. So are you sure you don't have anything on in the background? Was it gone? Okay, just restart and just come back in. Let's get it done.
Yep.
All right. So looks like I'm driving for a bit. How's everyone going? Is it still echoing now? Gone to shit again. Okay, I'm not sure how. Let me know in the comments. Is it still in the comments, guys? I've got no idea what's going on. Jason, good. Aaron, echo. All right, are you guys hearing the echo? My apologies if it's me. Let me know in the comments. Just reading them now. Yeah, so you're good. I'm good. People are saying. Okay, so there's no echo. Perfect. Okay, we'll just wait for Aaron to come back in. Sorry, because sometimes if you're playing it, I use a deck, so it loops back through. So, like example now, if I go onto the Shooting Stuff Australia live stream, I've got to actually mute it because when I'm reading your guys' comments, I have to pause it because if it starts playing and I haven't muted it, then it comes back through like right now. No, there we go. We've muted it. There we go. Perfect. All right.
How's that going?
No, you're echoing. They said it was you, not me.
Yeah, I got no idea what's going on.
Have you got anything? Okay, how does it sound now, guys? Me and Aaron, how does it sound? So no echo when you're both solo.
I think it's you.
No, well, they just went there and said it wasn't me. There's no echo. It's gone.
No, I think it's me.
I can't hear anything. You haven't got anything else on, no? Okay, perfect.
Nothing at all.
It says you're echoing.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, guys. I got no idea what to do.
Yeah, well, they're probably. Okay, have you got your speakers on? Is it coming out of your speakers?
No, I got the speakers off. Yeah.
All right. I don't know, man. People aren't going to listen to this if it's echoing. Is it bad? Yeah. Jason, good. Aaron, bad.
Yeah. On the bad one.
I don't know what to do, man. Your call, I guess.
Yeah, do I. I'm absolutely stumped. Yeah.
All right. How bad's the echo anyway? Anyway, let's continue a bit. You sure? Just shut all your browsers down except for StreamYard. Take everything off.
I got everything off. Nothing on.
Okay. All right.
Nothing on at all.
Yeah, remember that thing. Make sure it's plugged in properly. Is it plugged in properly?
Yep. I've just replugged it in. I can hear the echo on my end.
Yeah, well, that's me. It's you. Wasn't me.
That's not you.
Yeah, Yeah, just restart your computer, man. Restart, and then we'll do it. I'll just read out it. I'll do a roll call and then see, because that fixed it.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. Let's just do this. Let me just go to participants. So you guys have been commenting. Sorry about that. It always happens when you least expect it. All right, so roll call first off. We've got Adzi, the PWC bloke in Australia. Andy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 777. Blunt Machete, Sherry, Chopper 73, Chris, Rouse, Christo Z. We've got Sign Studios, Colin Penfold, Darren Middleton, Dictator Alexander. Oh, he's taken over from Dictator Dan. Foxy 86, Ginge or Gingy 017, Griffo 117, Harps 666. Jack Daniels, James LR, Lockie McFarlane, Lone Wolf calling Wolf Den. Lone Wolf, Major Buzzkill, Matt Cato, Mr. Wonderful, Neil H, O Soddit, Peter Sadout, Peter from the NSC, Phil Walter, Phil Westling, Retro 8477, Sean White, Southern Star Review, Stan Long Range Pensioner Mance, Stephen Savick, and the Bush Ranger Brotherhood of Australia, Tracer 123, Troll, TRO, Lol, sorry if I got that. Trollo, could be a troll, could be Trollo, I'm not sure. Chib user C1 and Vegas AB. So, anyway, let's read some of the comments here. So, Matt Cato's here, yeah. Government trying to silence us. Is the mic on your PC? Yeah, it is. So, what have you got? Has anyone been out there to vote so far? I voted last week. So that was quite interesting. I know I live in a fairly strong Labor seat, so I voted last week, and I was actually surprised about how many people were actually on the polling booths, actually waiting to vote. It was pretty crazy. Not exactly what I expected. I had to wait about 25, 30 minutes to actually get in to vote, which is crazy for not being actual voting day. So it seems like a lot of you guys have voted. It's not looking good for old Scummo, unfortunately. He's been, as we guys know, we're not really a fan of the Liberal parties. You guys know, you already know that because of the gun bans in 96, 2002. And unfortunately, let's see if it's not echoing now. Hello.
There we go.
Okay, can you hear it echoing in your ear?
It's echoing on my ear, but I just had a friend phone me and he said that it's only echoing when you're in the stream.
All right, well, let us know, guys, if it's working again. Let us know. I can't hear anything, so echo again. I don't know, man. Wasn't doing it.
Yeah, do I? It's weird.
So Jack Daniel says it's fine.
Yeah, as long as it's fine, it's good. But
you go for a sec, just see if
I can hear it going in my ears. And hopefully you guys can hear that.
Yeah, no, they're saying it's echoing and you're echoing again.
Jesus.
This turned out to be an absolute nightmare, didn't it?
Exactly. We had so much planned. Yeah. I don't know what to do, guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Either that or you have to take over and you have to run the stream for an hour so there's no echo.
Well, how about we both restart and if it doesn't work, we call it quits.
I don't know. Yeah, restart. I've already restarted my PC. There's not much I can do. I don't know what to do.
Yes.
Is it okay? Let's know one thing. Is it tolerable, guys, or no? Sorry. Second mic somewhere. Well, that's unplugged.
No mic here.
Hey guys, was it just 1 second? Was it echoing when he wasn't here? I don't know. Fuck, this is, mate. I hate software. I tell you what, I absolutely hate software.
There goes Jason.
Anyway, you just keep going. I'm going to mute for a sec. You just keep going. Let him guys go and see if it still does it. You go.
Yeah. Okay, guys. As Major Buzzkill said, I have the only mic I have is this one right here. That's worked over 3 years right now and never a problem. But it's a bit of a bugger because we've got so much planned here. And Yes, yeah, it's just unbelievable. This everyone's saying, like our friend over at Las Vegas, even he said that it is only when Aaron is enduro. So when both of us on, that is when it is. I hate to waste your time. So I really don't hope I'm wasting your time at all. And our friend Sherry said that's fine now. So when one of us are in the stream, it's fine. So maybe it's the live stream program. We're using StreamYard. So maybe it's something going on with StreamYard, which is a bit of a bugger because we got a really great show we did and worked out for you guys. So yeah, it's a bit of a yeah, not good. And we got a friend unplugged and replugged your headphone. Yeah, Mr. Wonderful, I did. I did that. So yeah, I even turned the computer off and started again. This is very, very frustrating.
All right, we
Jason,
should be good now. We should be good. How does it sound now, guys? Last chance. Is it good? Let us know.
sounds
what
good
it
to
was?
me.
You know what it was, guys? I think they're in one of the settings, just quickly. There was audio, and we were trying to figure it out before I got on, and it said echo cancellation. Must have been off, so it should be working good now.
Yes, you're coming through clear. No echo. Jesus, Jason, you owe me big time.
Yeah, well, sorry, guys. I had this. I should keep trying to use this thing. I tried to get Aaron on, but he was screwing around as per usual again. Anyway, let's get into it. What he wasted enough time.
Yeah, we're fucked around. Jason, you owe me several cartons of beer for your stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, you look like have you been drinking tonight? You look like you've been drinking. You sound like you do.
I've been working.
I don't think so.
I've been working.
Have you had any beverages today? Yes or no? Right now, have you had any beverages this afternoon?
I've had 2 drinks when I got home from work.
Look at his face, guys. Does he not look like he's just a bit slurring his words? He can't handle 2 beers even.
Hey, I'm getting on in life, you know. I'm not a young spring chicken like you.
Jesus, you can tell he's had a few, guys. Just disregard it. Yeah. Anyway, let's get it. Take over. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Okay, do your roll call, then we'll get into it.
I already did that, man. Look, you drink it, Nessie. Now it makes sense, guys. Anyway, let's get into it. So how'd you guys go? Yeah,
okay,
let us know.
Politicians tonight, who's going to win our vote? I had them all lined up, a ton of websites, and they're all gone because of Jason's stuff up.
No. Anyway,
and
so
all the gun policies lined up. So Jason, talk for a bit. I'm going to bring all these websites up about the gun policies on every single.
Anyway, so obviously we've got voting coming in this week. You know, listen, I said it was, you know, I don't know, Aaron's going to say probably something completely different. You do have the, you know, freedom parties, you know, you do have, you know, Liberal Democrats, you've got United Australia Party, you've got One Nation. Some of them, I'm not obviously a fan of their gun policies. You guys obviously know that since we've spoken about it in the past. Shooters and Fishers. You've got, who else we got, guys? Let us know in the comments. You got the Great Australia Party, GAP, I think they're called. I think there's one called the Australian Values Party. I think they're pro-firearm as well. I looked at all their policies earlier in the week and late last week. Who else we got? I actually found it very difficult here in New South Wales to actually get 6. There was a couple of parties I thought were going to be here in New South Wales that actually weren't on there at all, which was kind of surprising. My electorate and obviously the white paper above the line, I didn't see any. I didn't see Qatar above the line here in New South Wales either, so I'm not sure what's happening there if they're running in all seats. There was definitely no lower house in New South Wales. Upper house, I didn't see him on the main ballot paper either. So, and I did take a photo of it, so I'm not sure what's happening there, but it was difficult to get the 6 for above the line as well. Yep, GAP says, yep, Retro 8477. GAP, yeah, they were on my list as well. They seem to be okay firearm. Listen, people are not happy, you know, and I get it. Yeah, United Australia Party either. You know, Clive is not really pro-gun, obviously. But, you know, I don't know what you guys are voting on this election. Normally, it's just sort of firearms. I know a lot of people have got a lot of different ideas about, you know, some shooters. You guys saw it on my page, copped a little bit of flack from some people, but 99% of it was good. But, yeah, the amount of people that were actually on the AHP Facebook page, voting for Labor was quite scary. A couple of shotgun shooters, and someone says, "What's wrong with Labor?" And I was like, "Really? What do you mean, really? What's wrong with Labor?" It's
That
just,
was a good one. The comments.
yeah.
That was a good one.
I'm kind of surprised that people are actually still voting Labor, even after all these years of doing the shows and posting on the Facebook page and all that sort of stuff, to only, only have that many people that's still wanting to vote for Labor. So anyway, let's have a look at what you guys are saying. United Australia Party. Clive is out for Clive. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But again, and then the day, like we said before, guys, we're just voting for the the pro-freedom parties at this stage. I mean, again, I'd put my pro-gun, pro-freedom parties first. It's really up to you what you guys deserve. And what's interesting, we said this before where we were saying, Ryan says, what's right with Labor? Nothing, mate, nothing at all. Same as the Liberal Party. See, I got no problem saying, people get freaked out. I'm conservative, libertarian, you might say. I put the LNP dead last. The reason I put the LNP dead last is because obviously the 1996 gun bans, the 2002/03 pistol gun bans, most of the heavy restrictions have come from the Liberal Party. So when they tell you it's a state issue, while that is true, I think it is a state issue, it's true. Again, when they want to push something at a federal level, like when they ban the Adler, for an example, they certainly come to the party when they want to start banning things. So I know Matt Cato says Greens last, and yeah, I do agree Greens last as well. Yes. But, at the end of the day too, I think, again, I just, listen, with Labor and Liberal, you know what you get. I mean, look at all the stuff that, the Liberal Party's been doing. Changing, wanting to change free speech laws. Me and Aaron have had to curb to a certain degree what we've been saying online, because now you can pretty much just sue anyone for defamation on what you post online. I don't post defamatory stuff, but even just saying something negative about someone, they can take you to court. That's why a lot of these news outlets now, if you look at their Facebook pages, they've turned off all the comments. Why do you think they've turned off the comments? Because you can now be sued for what people say in the comments on your page.
Or sorry, Jason. Or you are even liable for someone else's comments. Like I got sued a couple of years ago, or a year or so ago, as you know, for sharing someone else's comment. I got sued majorly.
Well, you didn't get sued. You just got threatened. You know what I mean? You got threatened to be sued.
I got threatened by a certain organisation, but I got threatened, and all hell could have broken loose.
Yeah, well,
that's how easy it is. You say the wrong thing, you don't actually support someone else's view, but you broadcast it, and this is Australia. This is Scott Morrison's. He brought this in. Like, you can't even broadcast someone else's opinion, and you get sued as well as the other person just for sharing a comment. It's bloody ridiculous.
I mean, really, at the end of the day, if you vote, it really doesn't matter. Labels, Liberals, or Greens. Second last, third last, second last. I mean, I guess when you get to that point, it really doesn't matter when you get into those last few spots. That's just my thing. Like, I'm conservative, but I don't like what the Liberal Party does. I don't think the Liberal Party is conservative at all. At least with Labor and Liberals, like I've said before, you know exactly what you're getting. You know they want to ban guns. I know that. But when you're supposed to have a pro-freedom party, quote unquote, your centrist / right-leaning party, and they've got all these policies that basically sound like Labor, I can't really get on board with that at all. And that's what. It's like when your organisations don't fight for you, for an example. The David Shoebridges and the Greens, they're all going to hammer you. But when your own don't even fight for you, I don't know. I just find that more treacherous than the people that are actually really are our enemies. We're supposed to have these people to be moving forward and helping out the shooting sports. I just, I don't know. That's my opinion anyway.
Well, here we got, I've been asked about quite a bit about the firearm owners for the One Nation. Here we go. One Nation supports responsible gun owners and perceive the current gun laws. There you go. That's no vote for me. I'm sorry. They're just going to toe the line, and that's the end of that. And they're going to fight for our rights to get more guns back. So, sorry, but that's no vote for me. That's gone.
Anyway, Mr. Wonderful's got a pretty good one here too. I mean, he goes, the super chat, if anyone is voting based on gun law reform, you're better off taking the $5 petrol money and donating it to the NSC. Well, I mean, I like Mr. Wonderful. I know he's a bit of a liberal fan. I don't know. I just, I vote on gun reform. Listen, are we clutching at straws? Probably. But I don't know. What other choice do we have, I guess, other than, trying to vote for people that, support what we do and support our sports. We know that's not the major parties. And, if we're going to be clear about it, if we want to go really into depth with it, you're saying I'm not saying you're saying, but the LNP say they're economic managers. Well, they've put us $1 trillion in debt. You might say, well, and there's a fair point to be made. Listen, we had the fires, we had the pandemic, a lot of countries and things. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what happened to claim to be good economic managers when we're $1 trillion in debt. I'm sorry, just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up at all. And I don't like Labor. I don't like Liberal. I don't like any of them. I don't like any of these major parties. I'll never vote for them until I'm in a pine box. That's basically it. Yeah, I mean, he says too, I'm not a Liberal Party fan, just don't want a socialist Labor in power. Well, I guarantee on Saturday, whether we like it or not, if Scott Morrison's done such a bad job, that's why you're getting a socialist government come Saturday. He's so far behind in the polls, he's never going to have a chance of getting in this week. Things can change. If he wins, if he comes from behind and does a short and win, listen, I'll give you $5, Mr. Wonderful. I'll give you $5. We'll put a tenner on it.
I'll give him a carton.
A carton. Yeah. Okay, I owe you a carton, and I owe Mr. Wonderful $10 if the Libs get in.
Yeah, no, I dare say our one and only Joe Biden is going to be running the country on Sunday night. That's for sure.
Hang on, who's running the country? Albanese. Is he the Joe Biden guy, is he?
Yeah, stuttering. And I'll give Pauline Hanson one thing. The one thing that will get her more votes was the cartoon series she did. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. She exposed the scumbags in Canberra. And, the one she did with Albanese and Joe Biden absolutely hit the ball through the home park. That was amazing. And that will help her so much getting votes. That entire series she did on YouTube was fantastic. It'll help her a lot. Especially for the younger people going to vote. Especially for the younger people who will see that cartoon every week and they'll push her across the line to a bit better. That's a fantastic job to her. Even though her gun policy is not that fantastic. It's not that great. It's just about, we'll just toe the line. That's it. We'll not change anything. We'll not fight for anything. We'll just hope it doesn't get any worse.
Well, listen, I mean, as we said, what can we hope for? I mean, who really, is massively pro-gun in Australia and, sort of thinks the way we do, man? Unfortunately, there's not many, but, I guess I haven't sort of given up on some type of reform somewhere down the track. But, I mean, I think it's a long, a fair way away at this stage, you know what I mean? And, I don't want to vote for people that don't have my interests at heart. And I think a lot of people, after what's happened for the last 2 years, are not really happy with, the lockdown, especially if you're in Victoria or Western Australia. I mean, some of those people aren't happy, but again, a lot of them voted for, will vote for Dictator Dan and McLowan, whatever they want to call him over in McLowan, in the Clown in WA. Yeah, people think, he's the best thing since sliced bread, unfortunately. But hopefully we're not going to go the way of South Australia and it's going to be like, it was about a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago during the election there in South Australia. People still didn't vote for, the freedom parties. And I mean, I don't know, man. I said a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a friend and, Labor's been in since 1901, Liberals since 1944. Combined, that's over 180 years of the two-party system. And look at Australia today, guys, in 2022. This is the worst situation we've ever been in. The cost of living, and people say, well, we can't take a chance on these other parties, and we have to vote for one. Like, we can't take a chance with them. Well, heck, look at what's happening now. Inflation, 5.1% for an example. Our wages are down. Our wages aren't staying up. If we increase wages, then we're going to increase inflation. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, if we think after 180 years in 2022, we're in a really good situation, I don't know how to explain it to you. That houses are worth millions of dollars in Sydney right now. It's a pretty bad way right now, guys.
Exactly. Well,
You know?
I'm in the building trade and I have my own building business, and yeah, it is getting really bad. My products have doubled over the last 2 years since the Wu flu has come in. My products, just to be able to quote jobs, has doubled, and it's so hard to win jobs right now because of the unlicensed people out there, and homeowners don't understand. I actually had a huge, I'm telling you just today, Jason, I had a huge fight with an ex-client of mine because I did a freebie. I actually did a freebie for the guy, and he still complained and wanted me to come back and fix the freebie for him. It's unbelievable. Uh, and it's
I did a freebie
because,
then, yeah.
yeah, it's just like we had a huge screaming match. In the end, I just told him to fuck off, and that was the end of it. This
Mm,
is how bad it has got in the building trade. Inflation, the price of materials have gone up. I don't know how young people are going to get into housing at all. I honestly do not know how people younger than me and you are going to say 30s are going to actually physically be able to afford to buy a house and get into it. Something has
yeah.
to change.
Yeah. And we saw that in Canada as well. People saying, well,
Yeah.
the alternative is worse. So therefore we've got to vote for the same old, the same old dog, basically, because the alternative is worse. I don't fall for that mantra. I mean, the two-party system, people just get sick of Liberal, they get sick of Labor, they switch. You know what it's like. It's been happening for, like I said, a couple of 180 years of to and fro. And Tankmeister said, no, it wasn't Tankmeister, sorry. One of the guys will talk about the One Nation and the cartoons they've been putting out. They are pretty funny, the cartoons. And interestingly, Colin mentioned here Ricardo Bossi. I thought he was in Western Australia. Turns out he's actually here in Western Sydney, and he's in my electorate. So I didn't vote for him as my number one, but I definitely gave him a preference. He's definitely up there on my preferences list. I mean, I got no problem saying, guys, pretty much my first couple were LDP, One Nation, and then UAP, followed by Bozzy. And then the rest of the plebs came after that. That was in my lower house in my local area. Doesn't really matter. I'm in a Labor-dominated area, so a lot of those guys got no chance of winning. But, just did my part, and that's really the best I can do. That was similarly reflected on the white paper for me. It was almost a struggle to find six. So same thing. And it was LDP, One Nation, UAP. And then who did I do fourth? I can't even remember, to be brutally honest. I've got it here, but I might read it out in a sec once I can actually bring it up. I'll see if I can bring it up, guys. Aaron, you want to take over for a sec?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find all the spots I had lined up for us. I had a great thing on all the parties. Basically, all the independents, all their parties said was, "We'll just toe the line. We're not going to fight for you, but we just don't want anything else to happen to gun owners." But to me, is unacceptable. It's easy to say that. It's easy to say that we're just going to fight. We're just going to we're not going to vote for anything harder than what you already got, not to get anything back. And to me, when it comes to firearms, if you can't prove or say or publicly say because you just want to keep your fucking cushy paycheck, is we're going to want to fight and end this NFA, which is a scourge of Australia, is the NFA, National Firearms Agreement. Uh, you're worthless. You don't deserve my vote. I'm sorry, you just do not deserve my vote. And I've been hammered all week on my Facebook page by people about Bob Catter. Oh, vote for Bob Catter. No, I'm sorry. The guy's been in politics for almost 50 years. And he's in Queensland, the same state as me. And what have we got back? Nothing. I'm still not holding a suppressor while I'm hunting to save my ears for health and safety. I'm still not being able to shoot my pistols on private land, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And we all know why that is, because you've got to belong to a goddamn club to own a pistol because of public safety, which is the most dumbest thing there is. What else is there? So we got no hunting on, and we got no hunting on private land, and the guy keeps just mouthing off, all talk, all gum service. I'm sorry, I will never vote for him. I will never endorse the guy at all, ever.
Well, I would have given him a preference. I mean, at least put him on my list, but he wasn't in New South Wales, so at least on my list. So, and you know what the interesting part was? All the freedom parties. I feel this might have been on purpose, but they'll say it wasn't. It's all just random. But all the freedom parties come in the last 30%, or not even that 20%. Of my ballot paper, here we go. Like so you can't probably see that, guys. No shop, but on the white sheet. So pretty much dead. I know Labor was second last on the list here, but towards the end, so I went 1 LDP, I went 2 Pauline Hanson's One Nation, 3 UAP, 4 the Great Australia Party. Where's number 5? Who did I put as number 5? Number 5, the Australian Values Party, I think as well, which is I looked at their policies before I voted for them. And then number 6 was the Informed Medical Options Party. I pretty much didn't have anyone else to vote for. There was no Katter. I didn't see Katter on the list as well. There wasn't many to vote for. Anyway, so I chose those 6 based on pretty much the last 25% of the white ballot paper. All the freedom parties coming at the end. So I don't know. It's a bit crazy at the moment what's going on. But, yeah, people are saying in the comments, there's hope there's going to be a thing. The best we can probably hope for this election, guys, is it's not the best situation. I think it's the best of a bad situation. Labor will most likely get in, and hopefully we can hold them to account through the independents and try and keep Labor at bay. I think really that's probably going to be, really going to be our best option. If that's what we get given anyway, we're not really going to have a choice anyway. But what can you do?
No, exactly. I've been trying to find Clive Palmer's gun policy. It just keeps letting you back in circles. But I know I used to shoot with one of his aides. I'm not going to say who it is. I used to do a pistol shooting with someone who used to fly him around. We'll put it that way. And he said he's totally anti-gun and got no interest in guns. And, that's basically his stance. And that's it. So I won't vote for Katter, because I think it's disgusting what he did to Fraser Anning. And you agree, don't you, Jason, what he did? You're not even a man to tell.
The Fraser Anning thing. Yeah.
You're not even a fucking man to tell the guy he's out of the party. He hears it on the fucking news. That is a pure and utter low-life thing to do. That is not right. Be a man, tell him, and that's it. And you interviewed him, and he talked about that, didn't he, Jason? About he found out through
before the show that we did. He just said he found out in the media, which is quite disappointing.
If you can't be a big enough man to tell the guy that you're that he's out of the party a day after you praised him about his inaugural speech, I'm sorry, that's fucked. You're not going to get my vote ever again, because that shows the sort of man you are.
Science Studios said, have we checked out the Australian Federation Party? No, I haven't. I didn't see them on my list. I'm not sure. Again, I've got the full picture. I've just only taken a picture of half of it. So I'll check that tomorrow and check. I don't think I saw the Federation Party on there if we're in New South Wales. What do we got here? I think Chris was saying something about someone lost me with Labor. I'm not sure if he's talking to me. I definitely didn't vote Labor. I'm just saying Labor. I'm not sure, you're probably not talking to me, but Labor was on the second last spot. What I mean second last spot is of the ballot paper. I didn't vote for Labor in my top 6. So I just want to make you guys aware of that. If that didn't come across that way, Labor was not in my top 6. Labor was pretty much second last or third last on the lower house ballot paper, which is Greens, Liberal, Labor, 1, 2, 3, whatever, which you guys decided to choose. So I definitely didn't put Labor on my top of my white ballot paper, that's for sure. Then definitely not in that 1 to 6. So I just wanted to confirm that.
I can 100% agree. Jason will never vote for Labor or Liberal. I hear it every day. They are bad.
Never.
Yeah.
Okay, he said, no, sorry, they've lost me, not you. I mean, this is a situation. People, again, are blaming Labor, but again, it's not that. It's the people voting for them. So, again, feel free to admit it. I know Aaron's parents are major party voters. We talked about it. My parents are Labor voters, man. We grew up in Western Sydney. They're not going to change. They're not shooters. That's what they do. A lot of the older crew, they don't know anything but Labor and Liberal. They don't look at it. They don't look at it like us younger people do and trying to get some sort of change through some of these independents. Hopefully, it just doesn't happen.
Yep, and here's a good one with Chris Miller. I'm assuming, Chris, we're all going to go down and flood his property one day, and down in Victoria. So I'm assuming by CFMU, he's a construction worker. I own a plastering company, and the CFMU, to me, have never been nothing but trouble. The stories I can tell you at the CFMU is unbelievable. But we'll leave that for my second channel about the CFMU and their what they do. So Chris says, we had the CFMU try and tell us how to vote. The Labor and promises, lots of laughs. I laughed so hard at them and said that you believe that's cute. I'll vote how I want to quit, and the CFM on Friday, never again. Well, I had the same sort of thing. They come onto site, they bully you, they bash you, all that sort of crap. I've seen all that over the years and years. No union will ever care about who you are at all. And that's just my view. And it's unbelievable. Yep, and I agree.
Well, here we go
100%
from
Chris Miller.
yes, I didn't agree with it. Peter sat out, says Aaron is going to pull a donkey vote then. Here you go. Well, you can tell him what you did do.
Yeah, I pulled a donkey vote. Yeah, exactly. 100%. None of these. Yeah, Jason and I have been arguing about this all week. And Jason's probably one of my best friends I have, and I respect him 100%. And yeah, I walked in there. I looked at the card. It was just all left wing garbage in my area. There's no one.
They weren't all left wing garbage. Like I said, I think if you're gonna turn up, you're already there. You should have at least stuck it to the major parties. The bare minimum, you should have.
You know what I can do? I'll wake up on Sunday morning and know I never give one of these fuckers a free paycheck from the taxpayers. I've not contributed to give them a free paycheck. So fuck them all. They are bad news. None of them in my area was worth voting for at all. And I refuse to I pay so much, my company pays so much fucking tax. I'm not gonna, all I hear is fucking lip service. And I'm sick to death of the fucking lip service. Over 20 years since Port Arthur, and none of these fuckers have ever done anything for us. I'm sorry, not going to happen. I'm not going to do a donkey vote. At least I can wake up and say, I never put this prick into Parliament and got him to suck off the taxpayer and leech off us. I'm sorry,
listen,
it ain't going to happen.
I get that. I
pay so much fucking tax. My company pays so much fucking tax.
All right, let's not resort to every second word's a swear word. Let's just keep it reasonable.
Yeah, well, that's why I feel. I'm so sick of these pricks.
I mean, I get it. People are frustrated. I get people, they're frustrated with the current situation. I mean, it does get a bit down on you sometimes, especially when you've probably been doing it, as long as what we have. It can be after a while a little bit. You sometimes just don't think you're making any progress. I guess that's what. But again, if I'm there, I'm gonna try and vote for someone. Listen, I'm not saying they're gonna do anything either. And Aaron's probably right in that respect too. That even if they do get it, and we do put some of the independents in, are they really going to do anything for us in regards to firearms legislation? I don't really think so, because it's just is there an appetite for it in Australia? And even though I don't like the guy, I'm not a big fan of the guy. I'm a fan of his normal policies in regards to freedom. But like Mark Latham, I did an interview with Mark Latham. One point that he did, and it still stuck with me to this day, he just said there's no appetite to change gun laws in Australia. And I've thought about that for a long time, and I think it's bad that there's no appetite in Australia. But I also think he's got a point that which party is going to actually support us? Liberal and Labor or not? And even if these other ones get in, are they really going to, want to, put up for shooters and say, hey, listen, I mean, the bare minimum, I can go to New Zealand, I can shoot with a suppressor. Like that's just one of the minor things that would be on the list for me. I mean, forget even the semi-autos, like long way down the track, those types of guns. What about some basic stuff? What about, longer licenses? What about, I mean, I don't, do license achieve anything at all? Probably not as well. But what about getting rid of, genuine reasons where we can hunt, as Aaron said, on private land with pistols, for an example? We're not waking everyone up, or like when we're shooting on farms at night, suppressors would be fantastic. We all know they're not silent. These would be just some of the just small around, but even as suppressors just seem so far away. And are we going to get those independents putting up for us? Well, I guess that's yet to be seen. So, time will tell.
And you know why they didn't let us all this good stuff that most countries actually allow their citizens to do, is because it's control. It's what it is. They don't want
Hey,
us.
well, we saw that many years ago, didn't we? 20 years ago, when Pauline Hanson. You guys that are a bit older, what was her vote percentage back in the day? I'm thinking 20%. Am I roughly about right? You guys will probably know. I know there's a lot more, guys are a bit older than me and probably live in Queensland. But I mean, look what happened when Pauline started to get too much power. They put her in prison, for Christ's sake, and made up all this bogus crap, which
it
never
was the Liberals, wasn't it?
I don't know who. Let's not say who, what did what, but at the end of the day, I mean, Pauline Hanson, I think for a time there, didn't she, went to prison because they got scared that she was getting so popular. I mean, because they were going to lose their grasp on power. I mean, just insane sort of stuff. You wouldn't think this could happen in, I mean, it was many years ago, 20-something plus years ago, but. At the end of the day, imagine that you don't like someone, they can put you in prison based on that. People are actually going, well, maybe Pauline Hanson might be okay. Let's give a vote to her. I mean, I thought it was around the 20+%, but anyway, maybe you guys that might know, let me know in the comments.
Hey, I met Pauline Hanson at the German club down the Gold Coast years and years ago. She was actually, at the time, was a lovely lady, and we talked for a little while, not so much about guns, but just talked about stuff, just general stuff. And she was a lovely lady to talk to. But yep, it was wrong what happened to her. She was put in jail, and she got out, and apparently, I think she won quite a bit of money about false imprisonment.
Yeah, and also it is one thing too. I'm pretty sure, from what I've been reading the last probably week or so, if they tell you, I mean, basically I see Labor and Liberal as being exactly the same. There's no difference between these parties. To keep the independents out of Western Australia, I'm pretty sure, I'll check it again after the show, but from what I was reading earlier in the week, the Liberal Party and the Labor Party are preferencing around 37 to 38 seats. They're preferencing each other in Western Australia. So just let that sink in. To screw over independents because that people that might actually vote for those parties, Liberal and Labor, I just don't think not in Western Australia either. I think possibly Victoria, but I definitely know Western Australia, so I'll just talk about that. I mean, can you imagine that both major parties preferencing each other in 38 out of 40 seats? Yep. I mean, if that doesn't tell you all you need to know about who to vote for or to vote for the freedom parties, then I don't know, we're on a different page here. But can you imagine that? 38 or 37, 38 out of 40 seats, they're preferencing each other. Just madness, absolute madness.
Yeah, mate, the whole system is so rigged to there is, no matter what, one of the two are going to win. Labor and Liberal are going to get in. It is like, for example, Pauline Hanson could get 100% of votes. Do you think she's going to get in? No. There'll be some law, some change, some fight, and it's like any lawyer will ever tell you, who has the most money wins. And that's
well, you'll find this one interesting, Aaron, too. If you guys were on there tonight, you'll find this one very interesting. I know you're not a fan of him. I don't mind some of his stuff, but people think Isaac Butterfield is a right wing. So he made a political party video tonight. So guess who he's voting for, Aaron? Have a guess.
Liberal Democrats?
Nah, he's voting Labor. He's voting Labor.
Oh, Jesus, fuck me.
It was interesting because most people, Isaac Butterfield is that Aussie dude, comedian with the beard. I don't mind some of his stuff, but he comes out tonight and says, people think he's some right-wing thing. He doesn't like that the Liberals went against, freedom of speech, doesn't like those online, because of the content he does, those online anti-bullying / if you say something about someone online, you can be sued, you can get in trouble. So apparently his answer was to vote for Labor. And I was like, vote for Labor? I mean, at the end of the day, if they're both the same party. So do you think Labor is going to protect free speech and protect this online bullet? They're going to double down on that sort of ridiculous legislation. So that's coming from the Liberals. You can only imagine how bad it's going to be when it actually comes from Labor. And I think it's I don't mind him as a comedian, but I think ever since he's brought his missus on the show all the time, I think he's just gone fairly well downhill in regards to his I think she's got a bad influence on his what he's doing right now, because he's starting to say a lot more left-wing stuff, a lot more voting for Labor. I agree with 100% when he said the Liberals are putting through this, not really defending free speech and all this online legislation stuff. And I agree with that. But, I mean, voting Labor's not the answer at all. Not at all.
No, not at all. I agree 100%.
And I think ever since his missus came on, I think she's getting into his head and he's anti-greyhound racing now and all this sort of stuff. I think, maybe she's a bit too much in your head, dude. You got to start probably thinking for yourself. But, at the end of the day, I don't think these policies are bad enough under Liberal, really bad. So they're only going to double down under Labor. So making that type of video just literally makes no sense to me whatsoever.
You want to do right now, Jason? We're going to thank our sponsor for the night. And that sponsor is Brown. Yeah, that sponsor is Brown Plains Firearms. They one of the best gun shops in Brisbane there is, or basically Queensland. Very nice guys. Get down there if you're in Brisbane. Go down and see them, and you go down there and you talk to them. They're not just some out of school muppets that know nothing about firearms. They are guys that actually know everything about firearms and will help you out in any way they can. So please, links in the description. Big thank you to Browns Plains Firearms for being the sponsor for tonight. Lovely guys, and they do know their guns. And they are 100% geared to freedom, and they want to fix the firearm laws just like us. They want it to be better and easier for us.
Andy 1234777 said, Isaac is a legend, but he's voting Labor. Adzi said the Buttsman. Yeah, I saw his comment. I think he's a funny dude. He makes some good stuff. But then he's over in America last week shooting all the guns, saying he loves America, pro-freedom, which I agree with. Then he says he's voting Labor, so I don't get it.
I looked up
go.
Sorry, Jason. I looked up all the firearm policies tonight, and every single one I could see for all the parties was, we will keep everything the same no matter what. We'll just keep it all the same. We won't fight for anything, but we won't be happy if something changes for the worse, which means not good enough. They're not going to fight for getting our gun rights back or getting anything back for us. And it despise our Labor and Liberal. They will never fight for us. They agree with bloody gun control. They'll push for more gun control because it gets them more votes. And we've said that for years, haven't we, Jason? Gun control is poison, as in loosening gun control is poison for any political party.
Yeah, well, that's the disappointing part. Salty Skibby said, Isaac disappointed me deeply. Mr. Wonderful said, really? I used to like him. I mean, I tend not to like people based on their political affiliations. I just like, if they like what they do in their own personal time, who they vote for is none of really my business. I'm not going to like someone based on their political affiliations. Sometimes people are, good regard. Like my parents are still lovely people, but they vote Labor. So what do? I still love them, obviously. They're my parents, But if you want to watch that video, he did put it out tonight. You can, I think it was this afternoon or tonight, he put it out on his channel. So you can definitely, he's got some great points in regards to the Liberal Party, putting a lot of this legislation forward, which I don't agree with. But I mean, then to say somehow Labor is going to be a better alternative, again, this just goes to show how much in trouble we are in this country. That If you don't like the policies going through, you think Labor want gone free speech. If anything, they want complete control of what you're saying. So again, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. None at all.
And Jason, we've been talking about this all week about who to vote for, blah blah blah. And I'm sick of all these organisations and people telling everyone how they should vote. People can vote for who they like. It doesn't matter what they vote for, who they vote for. It doesn't actually affect me at all. People got to realise, get over the entire political thing, and just get on with their life. And because someone votes for someone who you don't like, doesn't make them a bad person. But I see YouTube channels and Instagram posts and the whole 9 yards of people absolutely hammering people because the way they vote. It doesn't matter. Who cares? I don't care if you vote Greens, Labor, or Liberal, or whatever. It doesn't affect my view of you. You're entitled to vote who you vote for. And what I hate the most, Jason, and we talked about this week, is people sending out these who to vote for cards and everything. Let people vote for who they want to vote. Don't try and ram it down their throat. And that's the way I feel. We're all adults. We can figure out this shit for ourselves. We can vote for who we want to vote for.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here goes a good one. I mean, I'm not sure, I like Brown's Plains is good, says Tracer Ones. I'm surprised they still sponsor the show after they said last week about how much he says buying direct from the US. Well, what I said is support the it's not the gun shops. I was quite clear about that. The gun shops get very little off the top. Yes. But I mean, sometimes I'm not made of money, guys. I say support the gun shops. If you got that one niche gun shop that you like to go to and it's providing you a great service, I'm saying support them. But I'm also not made of money, so there's not much I can do. If it means I can get that particular item or I can't afford that particular item, well, I'm going to buy where I can afford the item. I'm sorry, that's how it is. I've met, not just Garrett, the gun shop. He's a terrific bloke, great shop, great service. It is what it is, But if you're happy to pay the extra, and if I can't afford extra, I need to go where I can afford it, man. It just really is that simple. And I say the issue is not with the gun shops. I kept on saying it's with the importers putting up the big prices, because then the gun shops have to put it up, just enough to make basically ends meet at the shops they work at. So. But anyway, I mean, if they choose not, I know Aaron gets on really well with them, and they're a great sponsor. So, and they probably will continue to be a great sponsor.
Yeah, well, I know how much gun shops make, and it's a pittance, absolute pittance. Because I know sales reps from these gun companies, and the amount the gun shops make on those guns compared to what the gun shops make is a pittance compared to what the wholesalers make across the board. So
yeah,
I 100% support the gun shop, the end user, and to me, and we said it last week, we may do another show on it, but it's it's too many hands in the fucking pie. Too many hands in the pie, taking money and leeching off our shooters.
Yeah, and I feel like I said, the gun shops don't make a lot. Like a lot of these times during COVID, they were struggling. Significantly, which is not great, I mean, but again, I'm not made of money either. I'm not made of money. It sucks. But if I was a millionaire, if I was Clive Palmer, I'd probably buy a gun ranges, and you'd be shooting on all my ranges, and I'd probably buy a bunch of gun shops and give it to you as cheaply as I could. I'd probably end up cutting out the middleman, and if I had that sort of money, go direct and sell to shooters direct and give you massive discounts. But I don't have tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, billions even. So if I did, that's what I would do though. I'd be meeting you, I'd have ranges, it'd be shooting complexes, you name it, I'd have it. But unfortunately, I don't have that sort of money. So I wish I did.
Unfortunately, everything's all tied up here. So it's unbelievable. For all that, it's like such a as you said, gun ranges and everything is such a small niche, and it's all pretty much tied up to a handful of people. And it's just the society we live in, these crazy gun laws, and they have to change. They have to change. And if these political parties don't actively say they want to change this crap that we're in the rut, it is a rut we're in, then they're not worth anybody's vote. They're not worth it. I'm not going to give these pricks a cushy taxpayer's job if they're not going to try and help our shooters out. It's that simple. People may hate me because of donkey votes or whatever, but at least I can wake up on Sunday morning and say, I never gave that prick a vote. I never gave any of them anything to not help our shooters.
Phil said he's got a long list of changes. He just needs cash to run. Yeah, well, exactly. That's the hardest part, getting support and getting the cash to run. It's definitely, it's not easy, man. Political life, I wouldn't sign. I don't think I'd sign up for it. That's for sure. I mean, it seems pretty full on, to be honest. Salty Skibby said, I've met the Buttsman, so Isaac Butterfield, top bloke, and shows are awesome. Just his decision disappointing. Exactly. Like, I don't hold it against people. I know we're a bit critical.
Was he trolling everyone? If he was, good on him.
He obviously said not to vote for the Greens, but then that was the weirdest part. He said, well, the Greens were a pack of idiots, basically. Wasn't really nice about, UAP or One Nation, basically. Didn't say too much about them, but definitely wasn't positive. But I was like, the vote for Labor is a vote for the Greens. But, a lot of people that vote Labor don't really think or know that. Again, this is why mandatory voting probably should not be a thing. Like same thing, England, as far as somewhere, doesn't have mandatory voting. US doesn't have mandatory voting. Canada, I'm not 100% on. Maybe if any Canadians out there, you let us know if it's compulsory voting in Canada. But I don't think it is. I'm not 100% sure, but let me know.
Well, I think anybody on an unemployment benefit, you can't vote. Contributing to society, you're a leech to society. So you should not be able to vote if you're on an unemployment benefit. I think, don't hold me to it, but in Queensland, they let prisoners in jails to vote. I think Palaszczuk let that happen, and she got what? No, I don't know what the fuck happened, but all of a sudden she got past the line. So don't hold me to it, but I think that happened. But if you are not a contributing taxpayer, but this is the thing.
We can't even get mandatory voting gone, so they're not gonna do that if you can't get rid of mandatory voting.
But if you get paid the dole unemployment benefit, you actually pay tax on that unemployment benefit.
Well, but then you could say that about public servants, police. You're paying tax on tax. As well.
But you're going. But public servants are going to work. Dole blooders are sitting there smoking bongs. I'm sorry.
Anyway, let's not go down that path. Let's not go down that path. But hey guys, let us know. If you don't mind putting it in there, let us know. What you guys are putting in. Let's know what's your thoughts on this? What are you thinking? Give us your say your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What's your go-to? We'll read them out if you don't mind. We'll read them out as well. And we'll let people know. But if I give one advice. You do what's best for you. If you think Labor and Liberal, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you think that's best for you, well, I guess that's up to you guys. But I would say stick to your pro-freedom parties. Yeah, I totally agree. All of them haven't got the best firearms policies or, have said bad things in the media. I know it's not ideal. And I'd be probably a bit like Aaron. I wouldn't be putting him up there if it wasn't for what's happened the last couple of years. So that's generally, and again, people say, oh, how can you put Liberals, worse than Labor? Well, I've explained that, or the Greens. I go, well, the last 3 spots don't really matter anyway at the end of the day. But, again, I still can't get over those gun bans. I mean, that's the most serious, treacherous gun bans we've had in the history of the country after Port Arthur. So I'm sorry. I really can't forget that. It's just, it's just one of my things. And like I said earlier at the beginning, it's very difficult to have a party that claims to be, centrist or right wing when they're actually just like Labor. I just can't tolerate it, guys. I just can't. It's too difficult to tolerate.
Exactly. It's one thing Jason and me actually agree on. But I want to harp, Aaron, everyone who buys something pays GST tax. Yeah, that's wrong. GST was brought in a system years ago because I lived in it when GST came in overseas 30 years ago. And if you pay GST, you're not meant to pay income tax because it's goods and services tax. If you decide to buy, this phone, you pay the tax on that. You may pay a higher tax. It's going to cost you more, but you don't pay income tax. So GST was meant to wipe out income tax totally. So we're not going to pay income tax with GST. It's basically double dipping. It's just wrong. So, we're not meant to pay GST. If we pay GST,
I'd
you're
like
not
to
meant
pay
to
less
pay.
tax as possible, but
Yeah, well,
preferably none.
but the problem is they don't want us saving. So if you want to buy this phone, right, Jason, you want to buy this, you're going to pay double that price, but you pay no income tax. So an incentive is for you to save your money and be smart with your money, because if you know you're going to pay more for that phone, you're going to look after your products and it's going to last longer, and you're not going to be forking out more money in the long run. But over here and in New Zealand, it's the same thing. They went from, we'll never go, it was 9%, we're never going to go past 9%. And I think New Zealand's now 12%, and they're talking about 17% GST. Yeah, that's all good, but wipe out income tax, what it's meant to be. So you're not paying income tax, then you're paying on everything on
But
top.
then you have the tax agents jumping up and down. They'll be out of jobs and all this sort of stuff. So it's not even feasible.
That's a shame.
If we can't get a suppressor, there's little to no chance of abolishing tax and then having.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And one of the only countries in the world that on your superannuation, you pay 3 fucking taxes on your superannuation.
Anyway, so Andy said Libs third last, Labor second last, Greens dead last. Who else we got here? Matt said Lib Dems first, One Nation second, Greens, Labor, and Liberal last, and then just fluff in between. That really sort of seems to be about what it is. I mean, tossing up between, from what I'm seeing here on the comments, combination of LDP, One Nation, and UAP, not necessarily in those particular order, depending on what you guys want to, what your guys are putting, or you're putting in there, and girls, I should say, because there's girls on here as well. Mr. Wonderful actually really brings up a very good point here. I totally agree with that. He says, here's the problem. The left in Oz is united. So really, you've only got Labor and the Greens. They all vote Labor. Right is fractured and vote all over the place, and that's why Labor win. Listen, I wouldn't necessarily agree with the last part. With a certain degree, he is right. Like, I probably would agree with that exactly. But again, the reason is it's not the rights fractured is because of Scott Morrison and the Liberal Party's extremely bad performance on pretty much every front, not having conservative policies, not spending big. Again, these are things that Labor do. It's not our fault that he's done so badly. It's his fault. And the reason there's so many right-wing parties, which I 100% agree with, is because again, he's the Liberal Party again. The Liberal Party this goes for Labor as well. The Liberal and Labor parties of the 1985s and 1990s are not like they are today. Back then, at least Labor was, for the working man. And then now in the post-2000s, it's just all this woke crap nonsense. Whereas the Liberal Party has done the opposite. They're starting to move a lot towards the left-leaning of politics just so they can be elected. So, yeah, I would agree with exactly what he says. And they're fractured because of the Liberal Party's shit-house performance. No other reason. It's not the people have changed. The party has changed. And that's why you've had the One Nations, the UAPs, the Liberal Democrats trying to fill that void of then pretty bad performance. You know what I mean? And look, hey, at the end of the day, the people will decide. And if it's Labor come this week or it's Liberals, then people have to live by that decision based on the performance that they get from whichever party they voted for or whichever gets in. Can't vote for Labor and Labor gets in and then say, well, oh, shit, they're doing a bad job. Well, you get what you voted for at the end of the day. So anyway, I agree with a lot of what he's saying there. I really do. But again, why these parties popping up is because of the poor performance of the Liberal Party, no doubt about it. And they're slowly on the way out. If they keep doing this, eventually that they won't get in. Like I said, if all they've got to lose, Aaron, is the Prime Ministership, lose New South Wales and Tasmania, and the whole country will be run by Labor at that point. I'm pretty sure. If the Liberals in Northern Territory, let us know. Liberals are in ACT, South Australia, WA, Queensland. I mean, it's getting bad for the Liberals, guys. It's getting really bad for the Liberals. It's getting really bad. If they keep on this path, they're eventually going to get taken over by Labor. And it seems their only option right now is, well, we need to move further to the left. Well, that's the reason why we've got UAP, One Nation, etc., running currently.
Yeah, well, it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen on Saturday night, isn't it? I think we
Yeah.
all know who's going to get through at the
Just
end of
salty
the day.
Skippy said Lib Dems, One Nation, UAP, Shooters Fishers, and then Liberal. He said in 6. So he's still putting a preference for the Libs, whereas I left him completely off. For the reasons I've discussed a bit earlier. Mr. Wonderful said Labor is in NT as well. So yeah, only Liberal states, New South Wales and Tas. Well, if they lose, and I know Perrottet is on the nose in New South Wales at the moment. So ScoMo's got to lose. We've got election. You got Victorian election later this year. You've got New South Wales election early March of 2023. If they lose those 2 seats, you've pretty much only got Tasmania. And I'm not sure. I think Tasmanian election wasn't too long ago, if I remember correctly. So it wasn't maybe a year and a half ago. Again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're from Tasmania, can't remember every single thing. But yeah, it won't be a good look for the Liberal Party. Again, it's of all of their own doing. It's not the people. It's the betraying their values, betraying their conservative base, and people just go, well, I just won't vote for you, And if they go, well, you're going to get Labor, they go, okay, so what? So what? Again, I'm not voting for someone just because the other guy's worse. No, not going to happen.
Unfortunately, do you think we're going to have Labor on Sunday night?
Listen, man. About 2 weeks ago when ScoMo came back in the polls, I would have thought, geez, getting pretty close. But all Albanese pretty much has to do is say nothing. I mean, Shorten pretty much lost the election based on, franking credits, a lot of other particular issues as well. Death taxes, he wouldn't answer the questions. Whereas Albo's doing the opposite now. He won't even answer any questions. As soon as something happens, he just runs out the door into the. Yeah, then security get involved. But you know what, mate? For him, that's obviously probably a good ploy because he doesn't want to say the wrong thing right before the election. So they're not stupid.
We've joked about this for a couple of years. Kata is Bob Biden, been in Parliament for 50 years, and what has he done? Sweet fuck all for all of us shooters. But I'll tell you now, Albo, when he gets in, he is the new Joe Biden.
Joe Biden takes over.
He is Australia's Joe Biden. Like, he'll be bumbling through everything. There'll be handlers. There'll be people wiping his ass. The whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting, see, Mr. Wonderful makes a good point and says, imagine the entire country under Socialist Party's control. Say goodbye to your cars in 5 years. Well, yeah, but again, they've got to make the argument. The Libs have got to change. They've got to make the argument. They're failing. And I think was it Rita Panahi, whatever, and Panahi from Sky News was saying the other week they're losing the culture wars. They're definitely losing the culture wars. And again, people are getting. I went to a Christian school actually, but I'm not religious. But at the end of the day, people are getting turned off by a lot of this constant push for religion. Hey, each to their own. Do whatever religion you want. I couldn't care less. But I think it's turning a lot of people off. They've got to start rebranding. Get back to their conservative roots and values. I think. If we've got any chance of potentially, changing that. Collins said, I think it'll be a hung parliament, mate. That's what we can hope for. I mean, again, and someone else said too, here we go, Foxy86, Labor will only be a one term. People will wake up again in 3 years. But again, is Liberal going to be any better? I mean, look what we're dealing now. Trillions of, $1 trillion in debt, anti-free speech, all coming from the Liberal Party. Again, are we really going to be better? They've had 180 years, just like Biden had 48 years, was it roughly 46, 48 years in politics. The guy's done 12/5 of nothing, So again, voting him back in doesn't mean we're going to get any better result. Inflation's high, cost of living is high, real estate is high. I mean, it's a bad time to be alive for any young person growing up, that's for sure.
Well, it was Malcolm Turnbull who came out and said, I'm pretty sure it was Malcolm Turnbull, came out and said that the Liberal Party is no different. We line more with the Labor policies and the Labor way of thinking, more of a left-wing thinking. We are not a conservative party. Yeah, that does it all. The second he said that years ago, that was the end of the fucking Liberals to me. It was the end of me anyway, because they're the ones who brought these ridiculous gun control laws in. But yeah, if you vote Labor or Liberal, you got rocks in your head, basically.
Adsy said ScoMo's gone. Senior Liberal told me that they can see the writing on the wall. Or if that's true, it wouldn't surprise me. I saw him get a bit closer probably about a week ago, roughly about a week. And then, something happened. I don't know what's happened, but it just seems the sentiment the last about week or so has just strongly gone towards Labor. I don't think ScoMo had any cock-ups like, playing his ukulele or Albanese running from questions from innocent people asking questions to Albanese. So if this is the best we've got, man, it's just terrible.
We're stuffed. We are stuffed. In a week's time, we'll be, dumbfounded. And I think within a month's time, dude, we're going to be, when they're going to have to start answering questions within a month's time.
Well, the same thing happened in New Zealand. People are just leaving New Zealand en masse. I mean, they had 125,000. No, many. Sorry, 25,000. I think it was in 1 month leave New Zealand, which is quite a lot for a country with roughly 4.8 million people, somewhere thereabouts. So they're getting a mass exodus. And again, look at how well, if you've been following New Zealand politics, David Seymour from the AHP Party. Mate, from basically one guy to 10 people in Parliament. Now they reckon he's got at least 12, 13% of the vote. I mean, huge for the AHP Party in New Zealand, which is also pro-firearm as well. I quite like David. I think he's quite a good politician over there in New Zealand. I love someone like David over here. He's definitely able to make the case. And, good on New Zealand for having such a pretty decent politician. At the end of the day, they're all politicians, but I guess the best of a bad bunch, you might say.
Well, I was seeing a few comments here saying that you and me should run for Parliament. Well, I can't speak for you, Jason, but I think you're in line with what I say, but we can't run for Parliament. We have morals and we're decent people, and we, as I've said for years, we cannot look taxpayers in the eye and blatantly lie to them and bullshit them. We have morals in life, and we won't lower
Before we
our
go,
morals.
Christian said we can at least hope to have a hung parliament, but I'm pessimistic about the Marxist sheeple voting. Well, there's a lot of, we spoke about that at the beginning about mandatory voting. I don't think it should be, but no disrespect, Labor's not going to. Labor would never allow that because a lot of their constituents wouldn't bother voting unless they absolutely had to because they're too scared of getting a fine for not voting, which is I think a pretty decent fine, especially for the federal election. If you don't vote. So, they definitely would not support people not voting. That definitely wouldn't be happening. But Colin said, the Kiwis are moving to Australia, which they are. That's definitely, there's new Conservatives as well.
I'm actually seeing that on big construction sites that I'm working on currently, that a lot more people there are local arrivals of Kiwis turning up. They're saying the country's gone to hell in New Zealand. Actually gone to hell.
Yeah, Matt said, if any of my kids want to be a politician, I've failed as a parent. The salty skibby leg equals climate lockdowns. Well, Liberal Party lockdown too, man. Thankfully, some of the rats are fleeing the sinking ship because they don't want to be held accountable. One is Greg Hunt, for an example, scumbag level 5,000. Greg Hunt banned, if you remember, many years ago, we talked about it, from certain importations of exotic, animals from that you might have shot over in Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, somewhere, whatever country you've been to over there. Before we go, Tom Hocking said thoughts on UAP. You listen, beside the firearm thing, I like what they're saying. Same as Pauline Hanson. Beside the firearms thing, I like what they're saying. Same as some other parties. Beside their firearms policy, I like their freedom stance. So it really, again, this is probably the first time in 20 years it's been a little bit different than just voting about firearms. Aaron you'd done a donkey vote. Sorry, I don't think you should have done that. I just think, hey, you're there. At least stick it to the major parties and say, hey, up yours. It's only one vote. It's probably not going to make a difference at the end of the day. But if we have 100,000 of those people, 1 million of those people, well, you never know. You never know our luck in the big city.
I refuse to give these people a free paycheck on the back of taxpayers. I'm sorry, I just refuse to give it. These guys are just pure scum. All of them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what party you're in. They're there to just leech off us taxpayers. And I can wake up on Sunday morning and think, I never voted for that guy. I never gave him that paycheck. And I'll go on with my life. And the world will go on in the next 4 years. They'll fuck everything just like the Liberals have. Labor will fuck absolutely everything in Australia. And
Well, let us go before we go. Let us know in the comments, who do you think's going to take the top mantle? What will we have? What do you think it'll look like come Sunday next week? Maybe Monday takes a couple more. I mean, you'll find out who the PM is probably the same night. But what do you think's going to happen? Will we have Liberal? Will we have Labor? Will there be a hung parliament? And if there is a hung parliament, who do you think they'll choose? Or if they independents?
I don't care who you vote for. It doesn't change my opinion of a certain person. I got friends who are just so entrenched in their way of voting. If you don't vote for who they think they look down on you. It's like, I couldn't care less who you vote for. I really couldn't. The older you get, the less you care about politics. I think it's the best way to be myself. It just really is. It's
as long as Matt said,
is just poison.
Matt said, as long as Daniel Andrews is out in November, I'll rest easier. Mate, I would hope so. Absolutely hope so too. Yeah. If there's two clowns I could get rid of immediately, politically we're talking about here, you've got to do that for the live stream because, people think you're threatening people or some ridiculous crap. But politically we're talking, I'd love to see old McLeod from WA go and Daniel Andrews. If I had to pick those two, definitely be Daniel Andrews, but McGowan, just that look on his face, man. Oh, it just makes you, it makes you go red. Even Scott Morrison with that little. I don't think Scott Morrison knows that he's doing it. I think his wife needs to say, "Dude, stop that."
You're a dumb fuck. Stop looking like that. You're an idiot.
Yeah, just stop that smug grin. It's just not doing you any favors with people. Where he goes, it's not my. He starts doing this, and I'm like, dude, it's a bad look.
He's the Australian Forrest Gump. That's what he is.
It's not that. I think he might be a bit smarter than Forrest Gump. But
you reckon?
Well,
Forrest Gump.
If you're talking about Forrest Gump as in the movie,
Forrest Gump was he was a major success in the end.
All right, we've got a bet. Mr. Wonderful said Morrison will win. The same people who said Shorten will romp in are tipping Albo. All right, well, let's find it where. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful throw down a bet. Listen, I think Labor's going to get in, but hey, Mr. Wonderful could be right. There could be that silent majority that, again, decide to go thing. But I think the difference between last election, this election, definitely is COVID, and a lot of those minor parties definitely popping up. So we'll see if he's right. I'll let you guys know on the next show.
We will. And we'll leave it at there. Thank you so much, guys.
$10, Mr. Wonderful said. $10 on it. All right, deal. $10.
Sounds good. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. And thank you to Jason and thank you to Brown Pants Firearms for being the supporter of the show. I really do appreciate all you guys being in here. And it's been a fantastic night. So we will talk to you next week. And it's going to be an interesting show, that's for sure. So we'll see who has won on Saturday night. So take care, guys. Hope you get out shooting on the weekend. And have a great week. Catch you later.